Hello, my name is Haley Vaughn.
And my name is Jack Sullivan.
Equity, diversity, and inclusion are the core values of our school. We believe that in the arts and all other subjects, we must continue to support the creation of a more fair, diverse, and inclusive society. Ms. Bodelo's studio theater class and Mr. DiTullio's technical class, with the incredible video creation by Sam Gioacci and Stephen Vituzzo, explored the depth of hate in our world, all the way to the heights of compassion for humanity.
After a semester and a half of research, the studio theater class created an original and powerful script. The images, the words, and the sounds are from real people and events in our world. The play demonstrates the resilience of human beings when faced with bigotry, exclusion, and even death. The play also shows us that we still need to fight for equality and inclusion for all. Diversity will overcome adversity. Please sit back and enjoy the diversity play.
Take a second to imagine a world where everyone is the same.
Built with the same frame and the same claim to fame.
Where every person has no unique burden and is labeled on the divine assembly line with the same name tag and version. That's absurdity.
The truth is, being different certainly hurts, but it's worth it to take that course, because pain is its own university.
And even though we're all made in one image with the same thumbprints on the brain that we're given.
There's beauty in just being you, personally.
Thankfully, there are places to ask questions in the face of uncertainty.
Where each adversity is met with mercy.
Thankfully, there are places to embrace diversity.
Even when I walk alone at night, even when someone quietly follows me into the back alley, I believe.
I believe flowers will bloom. I believe the pollen and the stink will trigger my allergies. I believe in white blossoms because they wither. I believe the girl that reveals her white nape under the flowering tree will receive merciless love.
Drag out the furniture and memorabilia. Tear open the curtains and look at my body. It is steeped in sounds and colors that touch the heart.
My love, oh love, look at what it hides from you. I believe in today's news. I believe in the travel theater. I believe that the music and the circus will ever return.
I believe.
No music or reading will interrupt me. No demolition or bombing raids will ruin my dinner.
Oh love, you were buzzing and out like a fly. You were gone like this for a little while, then stop.
The flowers bloom even when I barely water them. Some blossom even though the soil is parched. Those kinds of flowers are terrifying. I put on a mask and flee.
I believe the thief who escaped from the dark alley might have been my friend.
I believe the killing will end, the violence will end, and more wars will flare out.
I believe we'll divvy up our pointless flaws and finally disappear without ever making things good.
Malala Yousafzai's father was her teacher and mentor throughout childhood. He eagerly pushed for her to get an education and to always stand up for what she believed in. By the time she was 11, Malala was already speaking out against the Taliban's oppression of women as they invaded her country. The young activist began a blog for the BBC, detailing for the world the horrors of the Taliban rule.
Despite constant threat, Malala remained determined. Even if they come to kill me, she said, I will continue to tell them that what they are doing is wrong, that education is our basic right. In 2012, when Malala was just 15 years old, a masked Taliban gunman entered her school bus, stopped it, and shot her in the head at point-blank range. On June 12, 2016, shots rang out at the Pulse nightclub in Orlando, Florida, in what remains the deadliest attack against the LGBTQ community and one of the deadliest terrorist attacks in the United States since 9/11. Amar Mateen entered the club and opened fire with a semi-automatic rifle. 49 club attendees were killed, 58 injured. Among the dead was Eddie Justice. Trapped in the bathroom during the shooting, the 30-year-old accountant texted his mother and friend before he passed away.
These are the words of Allison Brown. I can't tell you the first moment I realized I was gay. I really don't know when that happened. There wasn't a crystal clear moment for me, but I can tell you the first moment when I learned to love my queerness. It was in a small college bar, a place with loud music and flashing lights. I was 22 years old. I had heard there was a gay bar in town and I was curious. God, I wish I could tell you what was the first song I danced to, but unfortunately when you're having transformative experiences in your life, the little details pass you by. I do remember though that whatever it was, it liberated me of my hesitations, of my fears, of my self-doubt. I remember walking on that dance floor alone, really alone for the first time. Something inside of me changed. Somewhere between the heavy bass and the synth was a message. Somewhere in the flashing lights was a voice calling out. And that voice said, just dance. It'll be okay. You are who you are.
In 2011, the unrest in Syria turned into a full-fledged civil war. As the government faced the anti-government insurgents, the citizens watched as their homeland turned into a war zone. Hundreds of them were dying every day. They looked to flee the country, by land or by boat. They were desperate to find a safer place for them and their children. Shahra is a Syrian citizen who, after nearly escaping death, at gunpoint realized that his country is too dangerous for his family. After fleeing his town, he had lived in since birth. His family made it to a waiting car and flew to the refugee camp. This camp was far from safe, as it crammed 80,000 people in a group of tents was filled with rape and violence.
Happy birthday to you.
Here he comes. Fine ammunition against
Last flight on level position.
We are going to stay.
On August 9, 2014, Michael Brown was shot dead by police in Ferguson, Missouri. There were multiple reports of what happened, but all accounts concur that Brown was unarmed when he died. The officer that killed him, Darren Wilson, was charged with racial profiling and murder, but a grand jury did not find him guilty. In response to the shooting, massive protests erupted in Ferguson. When these protests were met with militarized police, it spurred national debate over the appropriate use of the police force.
Dance in the flowers of springtime like a flower with no petals. I have never heard of such. Never heard of a flower with no petals, a lion with no roar, a tree with no bark. These things are simply unheard of, like sacred souls.
They never see these things, or the stitches on your heart holding you together. Never heard of a heart that doesn't love.
What about Maya Angelou, who told us of the caged bird that sings? Or Dunstan Hill, who taught us to take our dreams, spread our wings, and fly with them?
A flame without heat is not so. It is ignited, like the rage flowing through our veins when yet another boy is face down on the ground.
These are not the things that are unheard of. We just never hear them.
I think it is time these things be recognized and not cast aside so that there might be hope for a bright future, and that we might never see a world where flowers have no petals and lions no roar, but finally at peace with no war.
Many people have suffered. They risked their lives to stand up for what they believed in.
They were expressing themselves as who they were.
They fled from danger and hardships only to be abused at the hands of others.
They were killed by those whose job it was to protect them.
But all these people, they did not suffer in vain.
Their sorrow did not die with them, did not fade.
After being shot, Malala was rushed to a hospital in Britain. She was incredibly lucky. The bullet that entered her forehead just missed her brain, instead grazing off of her skull. Malala caught the international spotlight. While she recovered, the United Nations introduced 2 petitions calling for all countries to ban discrimination against women. And Malala was not deterred. After she recovered, she continued to speak passionately about women's rights and education, in the process becoming the youngest person ever to receive a Nobel Peace Prize.
Over $9 million were donated to the victim of the Orlando impulse shooting. The site of the club became a memorial place to the LGBTQ community. The Muslim leaders condemned the action of the shooters. Nihal Awad, the executive director of the Council on American Islamic Relations, said, "You do not speak for us. You do not speak for our faith." After Orlando Soccer Stadium was built, 49 seats were painted in rainbow, each one dedicated to one person who died that night in the club.
After living in a refugee camp for a little while, Faiz and his family moved to Texas looking to restart their life. Although wary at first, they soon found their community to be open and their neighbors welcoming. Faiz began working at a local Walmart as he started to learn English. Faiz says he is happy, and we are not in support of ISIS. We are against them. They are a terrorist organization, and they do not speak for us.
Michael Brown was not forgotten. The Black Lives Matter group took up Ferguson's call for social justice, making Michael Brown's story a nationwide issue. Later that same year, President Barack Obama pledged $75 million towards purchasing body cameras for police departments to provide more accountability to policing. The world is not perfect.
There will always be those who seek to harm others.
Those who seek to stop diversity by hurting individual people.
But freedom of diversity does not come from a single person. There are those, leaders, who willingly or unwillingly charge first in the fray and call our attention to injustice.
Malala, Eddie Justice,
Michael Brown.
But truly accepting diversity is standing together, when we share in our combined experiences instead of boxing others out.
Diversity gives never dreamed of opportunities.
It let us broaden our mindset.
And when we all stand together to embrace diversity, we succeed.
Diversity persists.
Diversity endures.
Diversity will overcome adversity.